What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Spider-Man video. You might think your Mondays suck, and you're goddamn right they do. My Mondays suck every single damn week. But alas, your boy has come in with an awesome enter fire emoji Spider-Man video. I know that was really cringy, please don't hate me. So today, we have so many awesome ideas to talk about. But before we do get into that stuff, you guys know in previous videos, I always ask for like stupid likes, like 1 like, 4 likes. But ladies and gentlemen, if we can hit 1,000 likes on this video, if you do enjoy these types of videos in under 24 hours, that would just be insane. Only do if you enjoy the videos, of course. But that said, let me jump straight into this and just kind of like a little jog your memory kind of thing. If you're new to these types of videos, basically we share ideas on things people would like to see in the game. So if you have an awesome idea on something you would like to see in the game, it could be as crazy as you like, drop it in the comment section below, and if it gets enough thumbs up, it will make it into the next video. But jumping straight into the very first idea, and it's one of my favorites, and I know it was one of your guys' favorites as well. Now, it does come from Zernon. It's pronounced Zyronro or Zeronro. I really don't know why I struggle to say this. But it does say first-person mode. Now, this is a super cool idea. I mean, in a game like Spider-Man, having a first-person mode would be absolutely insane, okay? Now, the reason I know a lot of you guys really liked this idea, and even myself, why it is one of my favorites, is it's not actually a crazy idea, first of all. Yes, it is super cool, and also the last thing, it's not actually impossible, because if you guys remember in the gameplay video, I guess you could say, when Spider-Man's literally diving down and he's kind of like shooting his webs, it does switch into a first-person mode. Now, look, I don't know if that's some sort of like cinematic kind of like cutscene that is going to be compulsory. You can only do that, but that's technically first person. I mean, not even technically, it literally is first person, right? And do not disagree with me, it looks super freaking cool. Now that is something I would love to just kind of have as an option as a whole in the game, right? So literally just web sling around New York in first person, because first of all, like, it will probably really be challenging and it'd feel kind of weird, and obviously you're not going to see as much as you would if you were in third person. Second of all, it would just be super freaking cool, man, as far as everything goes when combat and all that sort of stuff. Like, it might not be combat because that would probably be a little bit hard, but as far as web slinging goes and kind of like shooting your webs and stuff, first person is definitely a must-have. But get in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think on that. Again, do not forget, it is going to be an option if it was in the game. That is how I would kind of do it. So you turn it on, you turn it off whenever you freaking like. But it's such a cool idea, man. So 10 out of 10 for that idea. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that definitely is in the game a lot more frequent than just cutscenes, basically. Now, moving on to the next one, it does come from the random person, literally, and he does say alternate endings. Now, alternative endings is a very, very interesting thing in open world games and video games as a whole. Like, it doesn't really matter on the genre, and the way most of those like alternative endings obviously happen is the way you play through the game in general. Now, even though it's a great thing, and you know, we can always compare this to like GTA 5, for example, because that was a game with multiple endings, right? And obviously the most popular game where most of you guys, I guess you could say, would be able to relate to. But in a game like Spider-Man, because my original idea way back like when I started making videos in this game, which was like a couple months ago, I do remember actually saying that it would be cool if you can be a bad guy in the game, like maybe after you've completed the main kind of like, I guess you could say, core element of the game, you then can do whatever you freaking like when you play it again the other time round, and it could essentially lead to a complete different ending, but you have to be the good guy first. So I think what would really make it, you know, flow smoothly is if you kind of have that option, or maybe you get a complete different ending by being an asshole pretty much without even knowing. Like, I don't know, imagine you're doing like dumb things and you don't want to save people. Essentially, you're not really a superhero at that stage, right? Like, no one really gives a shit about you, and in fact no one really likes you either. So essentially your route will be different, police will hate you and all that kind of stuff. Literally no one wants to know you, and then it kind of results in probably like a really sad ending, or maybe a happy ending because he becomes a good guy. I don't really know, but I think alternative endings, you know, multiple endings if you will, are always a super cool thing. Now, is the game gonna have it? From what we have seen so far, it's very hard to tell. We don't know anything about the story very much as of yet in terms of how it's going and all that. I mean, we've got the very like outskirts if you will, which of course is normal. But get in the comment section below and let me know what you think about multiple endings. Do you think it would work well with this game, or do you think it's a no-go pretty much? Like, would you just simply avoid it? But get in the comment section below, leave your thoughts on that. Like I said, depending on the way you play the game is the way you kind of get to the end. And again, it makes you want to play it all over again to simply see the different ending. Now, moving on to the next idea, it does come from Hector, and he does say sprint button, web swinging modes are like expert or easy. So the sprint button, first of all, essentially is kind of like what I was talking about in the last Spider-Man idea video, which was about the super jump mode button, which was a great idea, by the way. Like, you're running and you can like super jump, and obviously you get momentum, you get altitude and all that kind of stuff. It would just be super great, right? Now, going off gameplay that we have seen, like, obviously it's a tough one, right? Because the sprint button can work essentially in two ways, because you might just move your analog a bit forward, and then it's like, well, it happens in some games when your character picks up momentum is only when they start to sprint, which kind of has its pros and cons, because sometimes you don't really want to sprint all the time, or simply you kind of want to sprint at the right time rather than, not the right time. So I think having a sprint button in the game would be great, but seeing the way his, combat and everything is going, essentially parkour as well back in, 2017, and with all the previous ones we've got recently, I mean, the way his movement is going in terms of like sprinting and running looks super cool. Now, the web swinging modes like expert or easy, that's another really interesting thing. I wouldn't really say it bothers me so much, because again, it really depends on how your character is and how you control your character. But yeah, I get what you mean. Sometimes you don't want it to be like super easy, and it'd maybe be nice if you can upgrade like essentially your strength as a character. So like, even as Spider-Man, you got freaking powers, right, like as it is, but having like increasing your strength, for example, to do different things with your webs, or maybe be able to go for like a quicker amount of time, well, faster amount of time, if that even makes sense, basically depends on you like upgrading. But you basically do this by web swinging in the game. Like, I don't really know if that makes sense, but essentially making your character more stronger, so then you kind of like open doors to a whole bunch of different things. I don't really know if you guys get what I mean, but in my head it sounds freaking cool, like 90% off of things I say. But get in the comment section below again and let me know what you think on that. Now, moving on to the very last idea, and it does come from Matt007, and he says, imagine you are playing as Peter Parker in his apartment. You have a radio on the airways of the police, and then you hear Shocker attacks the bank, or there is a hostage situation at Empire State Building. Don't judge my voice acting, or something like that. Then you go out as Spider-Man and you have to resolve the situation. That would be so cool. And as always, thank you very much, Matt. Now, the idea in general, I really do love that. Again, I've touched up on this in previous videos, but the way this was detailed, it gives you that envisionment. It gives you the goddamn vision, alright? Like, you can literally, like, picture it now. You're in the apartment, then, like, there's, like, well, essentially, it's like a random side mission, right? Because you could be anywhere in the game. You might just be, like, well, hopefully, if you can go in, like, multiple, like, buildings on ground, you might just hear it then. But then, you have the option to go and change into your costume, because that is what we was talking about in the last video, essentially costume changing. But that as a whole would be a nice little thing, and again, attention to detail, making it more of a diverse world, so it's not just very bland and, pretty much straightforward. So that personally to me would make such of a bigger difference, as opposed to just randomly having these things. But at the same time, it would definitely make it feel unique and make it feel different. There's an event every single time and you literally don't know when to expect it. But ladies and gentlemen, those are all the ideas we have in today's video. There were some really cool ones, but get in the comment section below and let me know what your favorite ones were, or the ideas you simply want to see in the game. And of course, subscribe for more awesome content if you have not already. If you missed any of the previous Spider-Man videos, there is a playlist in the description below. But I will catch you in the next video. But till then, I hope you have an awesome day, and adios amigos.